with that. But moving on to our first award category of 2013, since we are scrapping the voting. We went over this earlier. I got a lot of flack for the voting last year, and I really like the way Giant Bomb does their awards, so we're going to do them that way this year. And basically, the first category we're going to do, and welcome Parties with Lemons.
That's a great
so
name.
A subscriber. Welcome to the profile. But basically, we had a category last year called Best Livestream Game, and basically it was for the best game to watch lives. I think what we kind of determined that to mean. And last year we had basically a four-way tie because there were a lot of people like a lot of different shit. So last year we had League, Dota 2, Just Cause 2, and Super Street Fighter 4. This can go into console games because obviously you can play anything on Twitch or YouTube, wherever you're streaming. So I wrote down a few in here so far, and we can kind of narrow it down and discuss it. I think a big one that has come onto the scene, especially with big tournaments recently, is Counter-Strike Global Offensive. I know you like to watch that, Brandon, a lot.
I think right off the bat, that's my biggest entrant to this category, just because Valve has done a lot with the spectator interface for CS:GO. And giving you a different ways to look at it, like an overview where you can see the trail for when flashbangs are thrown, things like that, like giving you a better perspective on a first-person shooter that traditionally has been really hard to translate into a good spectator experience. I love watching CS:GO now. CS:GO tourneys are really, really good, and I think not only is there just better production quality than there was before with CS:GO, but they actually are building in better spectator features. So that's a huge one for me.
So CS:GO, I would say one of the biggest ones, which I still do watch now and then, and this only really pertains to one channel, but it is a game. So Mugen over on Salty Bets, of course. I still watch Salty Bets now and then. That has to be up there. Simply, but that to me almost, I put it on here, but it could almost get eliminated right away simply because if someone else is doing, a Mugen stream, it'd probably be shitty. If it wasn't Salty Bets, it wouldn't be.
Yeah, I feel like that's a category of its own. Salty Bet, best Salty Bet matchup could be a category of its own for the awards because it's just such a crazy thing. I think you're right though. Watching Mugen in any other form, I feel like would be really painful.
Yeah, I think it would be terrible. I've actually looked a few times in just clicked on Mugen, and of course Salty Bet, running 24/7. It's always number one. And then there's some dude with 30 viewers, and his Mugen engine's all bugged out, and it looks like garbage, and I can't bet on it. So I don't really know that guy can be on here still. So I think, unless anyone has complaints, we'll get rid of Mugen. Nobody else really contributed to this document, so it's just going to be whoever I want to win in the end.
I contributed multiple times, and all of my shit was deleted.
I contributed by adding the game Run Escape, the best free-to-play MMORPG on the market right now.
That's not really...
Yeah, Run Escape, That one that everybody played in middle school, Run Escape. You guys know that one?
The browser-based one, yeah.
Yeah, Run Escape.
Best Salty Bet new category, yeah.
I added George Foreman Grill and Jack Johnson's penis, and neither received any credit. The other thing, and they were deleted. But to go back to the CS:GO thing, I agree. I was saying before, I hadn't really watched much CS:GO, but today I watched some, and I agree with you, Brad. I think the spectator clients were really excellent. The showing the health with the players in the red and stuff like that, when they get hit as a visual aid is so good. There's just so much. Yeah, I'm starting to come around on CS:GO. I think it's probably the 4 gallons of NyQuil I've taken tonight, but once again I'm back on board. So yeah, I think it's a great game to watch.
All right, what about this is obviously a big game that came out this year, GTA 5. Does anyone enjoy GTA 5 streams?
No, I'm about to. You want me to rant right now about GTA 5?
Please, no, go ahead. That's the whole point. This is a roundtable.
There is no point unless you get together. Why would I watch a motherfucker play GTA 5? What is the point? The whole point of that game is to go and do crazy shit on your own. and I get whatever with your friends. If you're watching people play GTA 5, you need to reevaluate your fucking life. How about that?
I think even
go
worse is
fucking
watching
play the game, you
multiplayer.
fucking nerd loser. Jesus
Watching
Christ.
free roam GTA 5 on multiplayer is the most fucking terrible thing to watch, in my opinion.
It's terrible. It's not. It's because there's no
good.
point. Oh, look at this crazy mayhem. You could go do that yourself. I don't understand. It makes
well,
me
you
mad.
could argue that for a lot of games, but
I like Just Cause
Yeah.
2 multiplayer, but that's even on another level of insanity.
But I think the thing is that I think Just Cause 2 multiplayer is fun to watch because it is so ridiculous that's like the
I can
the
understand
bugs
GTA
and
Online
everything.
multiplayer a little bit
The
more.
bugs and everything make
But-
it fun.
Yeah, the bugs and shit that can happen, I suppose, definitely fact. The total lawlessness of Just Cause 2 multiplayer. Also, when you know the scale that's happening in that.
Not to mention the just there's more like a community to it. I feel like in GTA you sit down, you get plopped down into some fucking server or whatever it's running on. I'm not really sure how the infrastructure is in that game, it's just like a bunch of random dudes and your fucking animosity towards all of them. Fuck all of them. And then I guess you can play with your friends, but it's getting harder and harder because if you get tagged as a what is the term that they use in that fucking online? It's like a bad sport or something. If you kill a bunch of people or steal cars, like what's the title of the fucking game is, then you can't play with your friends. Great design, assholes.
I feel like GTA 5, once it comes to PC, that is a game that's just begging for mods, because I think it could be really cool to watch, like multiplayer with mods or single player with mods. But like the vanilla GTA 5, at least what I've watched, it's just
Dude,
not.
Watching someone play through the single player of GTA 5 you should be put on a list, and you should not be allowed to have a job that requires you to do more than flip a burger at a fucking restaurant. That's it. I'm serious. It's so
there's
dumb.
anything wrong with flipping burgers.
No, there's nothing wrong with it. If that's your gig, more power to you. That sounds a little belittling.
It's a noble profession.
I flipped burgers all through high school and in college, but this is what my point is. Like, and the same thing. Like, I understand the online aspect. Like, I agree with you. I think Just Cause is also a good example. Like the online stuff. If you get a group of people together to do crazy shit, that makes a lot more sense. But just like watching someone. I'm not going to name names, but I watch some of these Let's Players, and Nick knows who I'm talking about. My God, I can't. Nothing makes me more upset, man. Like, and sometimes they're not even talking. They're not even talking.
Yo, you guys want to watch me drive to the next mission? Sweet.
Like, are you fucking
Enjoy the
kidding me?
next
It's not
15
even
minutes.
edited out. It's just I fucking can't. I'm just so over GTA 5.
Can I just make a side note and say, in my opinion, GTA 5 multiplayer did not live up to the hype at all. So
No,
I'm
it's
throwing that
really
out there.
bad. Actually, it's not fun.
I'm
at
throwing
all.
that out there.
So, I think we can call GTA 5 eliminated from this. GTA 5 and Mugen eliminated.
Fuck GTA 5.
Mugen, let me say, Mugen would stay on here if there was other channels that weren't Salty Bet that could make it work. I just think when it's only one thing, can't do it. All right. What about, and this was on the list last year, brought up by multiple people, DayZ, watching DayZ live.
Nope. Boring as fuck.
No,
Is that even a thing anymore?
There's action
not too
moments,
much.
but you have
Daisy
to watch
belongs
for
on
like
YouTube,
2 hours
so-
of it, and that's the problem.
Daisy belongs in the highlight video. That's where Daisy shines best. So sorry.
I think DayZ.
It's one of those games.
DayZ for me is very dependent on the person who is streaming it.
Yeah,
like
Sakura.
some DayZ streams are good. Like I watch Soma, and he's just entertaining. But
Sora?
that's more a personality thing than the game itself. I think DayZ standalone, like once there's more renewed interest in it, I think maybe it'll be better. But it's one of those games that lives and dies by the interest around it.
All right.
Did that motherfucker get off a mountain yet and finish the new game, or what? Is he still
Nope.
climbing?
It's still
No,
in,
he's actually
still
just
in
off
alpha.
of all social media until the game finishes, apparently. So, I mean, we won't see another tweet until 2016. So that's great.
cool. Make hype videos of people in outfits and then get mad when people are like, "What the
All right.
fuck is this?" GG.
Okay, we've already
just-
been down this road multiple times.
I'm gonna
sorry,
go
I'm
down.
not-
I'm gonna go down the list right now. This one is actually probably just one for me, although Jenkins might like it. Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Every time in a tournament setting, I can watch this literally all day, because the game is so insane at times. And of course, we all got caught up in the Evo hype with Justin Wong, but just to watch someone play Marvel, I don't know. It has to be in a tournament setting, I think.
Yeah, I would agree with that. If it's not Evo, I don't really give a shit, or even one of the smaller tournaments. It's fun to watch on occasion, but I can't really get too hype about it. Otherwise, it's bad all-purpose streaming.
It's bad all-purpose streaming. All right, so we'll eliminate Marvel. Although we do like Marvel in certain situations, much like Mugen.
Yes.
It'd be done. All right, dive kick.
Nah. It's too
Same
simple.
situation.
It's too
Yeah.
simple.
It's good every once in a while, but it's not something I would tune in daily for or anything like that.
If somebody
It's
was known
hard to-
as a dive kick streamer, I would tell him to fucking figure his life.
Get a different game.
I think that's the hard thing with this category is it's hard to remove the events around a game
Right.
from
I
the
totally-
game itself.
Totally understand that, and we're going to get to some big ones for that, too, in this list. So, dive kick can be eliminated. Battlefield 4. I actually have watched Sacral. John, you're muted.
It's too new, but Widgety Bear is the greatest thing that's ever happened.
Yeah,
Watching-
but outside of Sacral and Widgety Bear, like, who else are you gonna watch on Battlefield? Like, I can't really think of very many people.
I don't know, but I like watching Battlefield, like, because even the epic moments, like, to me, never get old so far. It is very new, though, obviously.
Sergeant Enigma needs to stream Battlefield.
He
and
does
then-
need to
Does he
stream
still
that.
play?
Yeah, he has like fucking 1,000 hours in BF4 already. He doesn't.
Does he
stop.
make videos still?
just
Because
plays
I haven't
all
even
the time.
checked up in so long either.
Yeah, he's made a few for BF4 already.
I should
I
probably.
think
catch
that's
up
one
with
of the
that.
things going in Battlefield's favor is that for a viewer, the epic moments in Battlefield and for lack of a better term, Levolution, that kind of stuff. I think that's not necessarily going to get old to people watching the game. It'll get old to the person playing the game. But like I've watching some of your streams, Dan, the stuff in Battlefield 4, like the map, the crazy epic map moments. Those are really entertaining to watch. That's one thing Battlefield 4 has gotten right. So I would say
Well, like,
Battlefield
just-
4 is entertaining.
Yeah, like I had a like, not that I'm the best at Battlefield at all, but the other night when I streamed it, we had this firefight for 1 point, and it lasted like 5-10 minutes. Like, it was so long just to get 1 point between two groups, and everyone in chat was going crazy. It was like, just because, like, if I saw somebody streaming that as well, I would get hype over that just because
When-
it's incredible to see.
When we were playing, Ches was flying a helicopter, and I'm sitting on the side with a carbine, and we're on the map where the train is the checkpoint, or the flag or whatever. So he's flying next to this fucking train that's going, it's moving, and there's a guy in the back on the MG, and I'm having a gunfight with a guy on the back of the train on a helicopter, and we did like an aerial drive-by. It was incredible. Like, that's
Yeah,
where
so-
Battlefield shines as a
And
streaming game.
I think that it's much better than Battlefield 3 to watch. I don't know
Oh, yeah.
why.
It's just
I
better
feel
than
like it is.
Battlefield 3,
There's
period.
less downtime, so I mean,
I
don't
just used
know.
to watch people that stream 24/7 Metro on Battlefield 3. That's my favorite. I love those.
Get the fuck out of here.
Dan couldn't even.
I also love
Couldn't even handle
prodding
the
my
control.
anus open. Along
Brandon
with
just
watching
put Call of
24/7
Duty
Metro.
Ghosts on here, and I just want to
Call
punch
of Ghost, lol, lol, lol.
When Orb is streaming Call of Duty Ghost, actually, yeah. I actually
I
do like watching it because he's fucking
not
insane.
even as hype on that anymore compared to the other.
You
Call
can
of Duty.
no.
It's
Here's
not
what
like-
here's what I will say on Orb streaming that. Okay, even he doesn't look very excited anymore. He
Well,
looks beaten by the quality of the game. He really does.
You wanted it to be good, and it's just not.
He was running it with like the low textures on, which make it look like a game from 04 or so. So it's like, but I don't know. Would we keep BF4 on here as a nominee? Kind of thing?
It's hard to say because it is still very early on.
It's too new, and you don't
Too new.
know like.
So much of this is subjective. This whole category
This is
subjective.
Well,
very
that's-
like
yeah,
doing it. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
just
no,
doing it, like,
it obviously
that's-
is.
I can
yeah.
watch, yeah.
It obviously is. That's why I started with it, because I wanted to get it get it out of the way. We've got a lot of
It's also one
categories.
of those categories that isn't really like we're not limiting it to games that have come out this year. It's more just
Yeah,
like
it can
games
be a lot
that,
of stuff. So you could
like,
have a
that's-
multiple winner. I mean, League could win again this year. I don't know. It might.
Yeah,
you
and
know.
I think that's why at
But-
least like so far CS:GO has made such big strides in live streaming in general. I feel like that's a solid nominee.
Yeah. Also in chat, the entire awards thing is subjective. It's completely true.
Yeah, awards are.
Completely
No, this is
true.
gospel. You fucking write.
Well,
this
it
down
is
and
gospel
shut
because
up.
it's
Well,
us.
actually,
'Cause it's
I'm
us.
being paid by EA to vote for Battlefield
So
4.
here's a good one and a rather big one, and I will make the initial argument for this. StarCraft 2. I thoroughly enjoy every StarCraft 2 cast that I come across.
Couldn't
Fun.
be asked.
And I don't know what the hell is going on at all.
That's true.
I have
will
no
watch-
idea.
I'm the same way. I will stumble upon StarCraft streams and 2 streams and watch, even though I don't know either. Really.
StarCraft is
StarCraft-
one of those games that I think is good to watch from a tournament perspective and from an individual perspective. Like I like
I used to
both-
watch Eric Bruner. He
both
was
ways.
awful, but he
Yeah.
knew it. But he was trying hard, and he knew more than I did. But I'd still watch it, you know.
Yeah, and I think their spectator stuff is pretty good too, like giving you kind of an overview of what's going on, even if you don't necessarily know the units and things. Just kind of seeing seeing the worker supply and like units killed and things like that kind of give you an idea of how the battle is shifting. I think stuff like that's really cool. StarCraft lends itself really well to that.
Also, let's put this in perspective again. My wife watched the grand finals last night with me. So
WCS?
she was even like watching
Nice.
it.
How
She,
many
cocktails
she
you
had
have to put in her?
she had no idea. She had no idea at all what was going on. She was fascinated though that a video game had like casters and stuff. Like,
What's your wife's name? Is she Toss or?
she would probably be a Terran player. She was a barbarian in Diablo
Nice, a fucking
2,
dirty
so.
Terran player. Spam Marines more, bitch.
So I think that one stays. I think we can have that stay as a nominee, StarCraft
Yeah.
2.
I
But
think
unless anyone has
deserves
objections.
it. I think it
Yeah.
deserves it.
All right,
Because yeah,
now.
both from like a tournament standpoint and a personal
Now
standpoint. When you get a
moving
good
on-
person on okay, never mind. Let's
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
It's over. Well, I was gonna
I
say
didn't
when you
know.
get a
Go ahead.
when you get a person,
Jesus.
a single person streaming StarCraft that talks through what they're doing, it's very entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when you were into it, you said you were trying to learn for a little bit there. You were watching streams of dudes
That
just talking
I
through what
did
they're
not
doing.
get very far. I'm still shit tier.
So now we come to the three heaviest hitters. Well, two of the heaviest hitters, with the third being StarCraft on Twitch. Dota 2. What's our feel?
Dota
I
2.
personally,
Better
Than League.
League.
Still, I only
Can-
prefer to watch major tournaments.
Would
Yeah, I don't watch individual Dota. I mean, I'm not huge into Dota. I'll
When-
watch the Dota when it's a huge tournament.
The
does it
international.
count? Does it count as a live stream when it's the in-game broadcaster?
I think that
It's
counts
not-
towards that
it's-
game for being
Yeah,
a
I
quality
think
streaming
I
game.
think in terms of those mechanics in the game, like being able to access that stuff, where you can listen to broadcasters, you can look at player points of view and stuff like that. That's way more far ahead than League of Legends.
I think that is a big plus to it, and that would also be not to Ghost necessarily, but any game that integrates streaming, I think gets a little plus. But Dota 2 does it in a way that others don't, and I think that's very, very cool.
You can also get your item drops in Dota if you're watching it on Twitch. So
That's
you don't
true.
Same with
So your
CS:GO.
item drops
CS:GO as
and,
well.
Yeah, same with CS.
Your stream watching
So-
experience is enhanced
So
there.
are we thinking overall Dota has to stay?
put it on the list.
All right. So Dota's gonna stay. All right, guys. This one, I don't know. Smite.
To
If
watch.
it's Bart, yeah.
I watch a lot of Smite, but
I think
in
for
terms of
me-
go ahead, Brandon.
No, I was just gonna say, for me, that's one of those games where it really is hard to separate sort of the personalities that stream Smite versus the game itself. Because the game can be entertaining to watch, but for me, it leans more towards the people that stream it. I think are good personalities,
Yeah.
but I can't put it on the same level as our other nominees so far.
Well,
If you
I feel like
compare
that's
the
part of
spectator
it,
class.
though. You kind of have to take the community that's evolved around the game into account. you
Yeah,
know?
there's definitely in a lot of these games. There's different reasons people would go to different streams for personality, for high school gameplay, that kind of stuff. But
Yeah, they go to
I think it's-
KBMOD for all the high school gameplay. I understand.
I think it's
I will-
hard. I love Smite. I fucking love Smite. But it's hard for me. I still have trouble watching tournament play because they've improved their spectator client like so much, but I still think it's a very hard game to watch when it's not like, the third-person camera. If you're doing a whole above-the-ground camera, or whatever you would call that, but it's very hard for me to watch it.
It's hard. Like for me, it's kind of hard to watch in the same way I'll say for tournament style content.
Yeah,
when you want to
that's
get kind of the
hard.
macro view, Smite is hard to watch in the same way that I think World of Warcraft arena kind of stuff is hard to watch, because the traditional MOBA top-down view. That's what makes it easier to focus on the game and what's happening and see the team fights and understand what's going on. With a third-person game like Smite, it's just difficult to get that in the same way, I think.
I agree with that.
I see that. So we're
But I
keeping
will
Dota
also
2.
I do want to say Smite. I think Smite for me gets like an honorable mention, just because of the effort they've put into live streaming around that, like official support for live streaming around the game itself, like having streaming built in, streaming 24/7 on their channel. Like that's sort of external to the game, but I think like in terms of introducing new players and kind of interacting with live streaming, it's not exactly germane to what this category really means. But like I think that's why I say honorable mention for them for like caring a lot about it.
Oh yeah,
even
they definitely recognize
even if the
that's
game
very
itself is not necessarily like a winner of this category.
They're still updating. They're putting shit into their spectator client, all like in patches and stuff. Still, like it's getting improved. It's gotten way better than it was even like a month ago. It's like it's getting updates. So
All right.
Tribes. Put that on there. There you go.
Tribes. I think Smite. It's funny
You
that
know
both
what?
Smite and Tribes suffer the same problem, where it's very hard to watch as a spectator.
Yeah.
It's just
Tribe
difficult.
spectate. I don't
It's-
know, at least for
I
me.
The
could-
Unreal
I've-
Engine, it's hard to build a good spectator client in the Unreal
Well, no,
Engine.
it's just in terms of gameplay,
you know
it's
what?
hard
We're
to
done
watch.
here.
But like, I had tried to watch Tribes.
I loved watching Tribes when
tournaments?
people actually played it. Seeing people
If you see a first-person view on Tribes, but when people have the free camera flying around on Tribes during tournaments and stuff, I can't watch that. It's just terrible. Please don't.
Like, what is that? There's the action happens on very small points over a very large map that will be here 1 second and then on the other side of the map the other. There's no way to spectate that game. It just it doesn't work. You have to do first player perspectives.
Yeah. So Smite gets mentioned for doing it well. But we're arguing over the check mark in the document right now. Anyway, all right, the big one, the biggest one, the most live stream game in the world, League of Legends. What's your
Fun
feels?
game to watch. Shit community.
When you're putting it up against streaming stuff against Dota 2, I
It's
don't
not
see
even
how.
comparable. It's not even close.
So
But why? Why is it not close?
Because it
In
doesn't
what
have the
way?
functionality.
They're lacking a lot of things that other games are putting effort into because they don't have to put the effort into them.
That's very true.
You look at everything that Dota and like you Counter-Strike have to offer, like when it comes from a spectator
Oh, absolutely.
perspective, and like
This sounds ridiculous. This sounds like hipster as fuck, but they're too big to be the best. They're just
there's
it's
just
not-
so much of it that it's like
League is the biggest because it's the biggest game in the world. I mean,
yeah, I mean
It's
I
not
enjoy
because-
watching
That's the
League.
most
I watch League all day.
sentence I've ever heard. League is
What?
the biggest because it's the biggest game in the
No.
world.
All right,
He means it's the
but
biggest
Scott,
streaming game.
it's the biggest streaming game because
But
it's the
Scott,
biggest game.
do you really enjoy watch? Should this be a
No,
finalist
now that
in
I've
this
played so much
category?
League, I don't really watch League anymore, unless it's tournaments. Same thing with like Dota.
That's not like that's not a germane reason to like exclude it or include it in this
No.
voting.
I'm not saying
I don't
but
fucking
I
like
agree with
watching
them.
League of
the
Legends,
Dota
so
functionality
there you go.
is better. But I mean, yeah, I mean, League is interesting because you can watch like how people.
Let
I mean,
me-
it's just like any, how
let me-
people play their characters.
Let me put in my 2 cents here of 2 games I don't play and don't really intend to play. I got super hyped for the International. I have never even spent more than 5 minutes watching League or cared to. So
Yeah, International
you're
was-
bigot, so
was great.
I'm a bigot because I haven't played
You're a
either
MOBA
game.
bigot.
I have no horse in this race.
What's your
Besides
problem with
CS:GO.
horses, Dan? You fucking
God
horse
damn
bigot.
it! All right, there's 3 more games on here. Hearthstone. I can't watch it
No.
being streamed. I love that game so much, and I can't watch
Fuck
streams.
no.
But
I can't stream
I
it 'cause
stre- I
have
stream it.
Fucking nerds that
I
spend too much
stream
money.
it, and I don't want to watch it.
I enjoy watching Hearthstone, but I'll echo some of the same things that were said about Battlefield 4. I think it's too new, and in terms of actually like after having seen the Hearthstone tournament they did at BlizzCon, which I really liked. I can't say it wins because they had to have like one or two full-time people like switching between interfaces. Like it's not a good spectator experience yet.
Right.
Which it will be. Like I think next year Hearthstone could win for this category for me, but it's not there yet.
So, all right, 2 more games, and this one maybe you guys haven't watched any of, but I watched this game, and I actually enjoy watching because people actually get super stressed playing it, and it's fun to watch. Papers, Please. If you've never watched Papers, Please, and even if this only serves to get it out there, Papers, Please, watching someone stream it is so fun because they actually get very nervous about what's going to happen, and the game starts to stress you out. For those that don't know what Papers, Please is, you have to start checking information on passports to let people into the country or not, and you have to go decently fast because you have to earn a wage to pay your bills at home. That's it. That's the whole game. But you watch people get very, very stressed out, and it is very funny. Also, you sit there and you can nitpick everything they do from sitting there, and you can get super angry when they don't see a discrepancy.
Oh, that's
on
fun.
the
I love
passport.
streaming games like that with fucking douchebag.
No, you don't.
Backstabbing
No,
errors.
people don't say it in chat, but you're just sitting there like, "Oh man, I can't
Oh,
believe." Like,
Sorry, I was about to go on a rant with Blacklight about people that tell you how to play a game. But
Oh yeah, they're
that's
great.
right.
yeah, backseat gamers are the best. You get them in League, but I'm guessing
Well,
that's a
it's
no
all
on
League.
that. Nobody has ever watched it except me. But in the future, I'm going to be putting these lists out there well before we do them for the roundtable, so then people can put suggestions in there. So, but I guess we
I think for Papers, Please, it's not. I don't think it's varied enough over
Yeah,
time to
that's true.
really be like a.
Once
a
you've
good
watched
experience.
one, you've kind of watched
Yeah.
them all.
I feel
But-
like it maybe is kind of like GTA Online. Like maybe the first few times you watch it, you tune in, and you're like, "Oh, this is cool," but then you realize like there's really not a whole lot there.
I've never even watched the game at all on YouTube or Twitch because
Try
I'm
it
saving that for
sometime.
myself.
That's
The
true
experience?
too. It's one of
Yeah.
those. It's one of those games you probably shouldn't watch because you should play it for yourself.
That's true. That's true. Last one that I have on here, and then I'll ask if anyone wants to add anything at all. Binding of Isaac, which I
God.
used to
I love
watch a lot. Isaac races are one of the great things on Twitch, but that falls into the Salty Bet problem, in that Salty Bet is the only Mugen channel worth watching. So there's no point in really having Mugen on this list. But Isaac races are amazing. They're incredible to watch because making fast decisions in Isaac is usually a recipe for death. So, but when you see an incredibly good player at that game, it is fantastic to watch. The hype gets very real in those streams. But anyone voting for keeping this besides me? Probably
I enjoy watching Isaac. I think
I also
it's,
enjoy Super Meat Boy the same way, but it's just not like a
I
real
think
thing.
for me, Isaac falls too close to like associating it with the person streaming it rather than the game itself. But I don't know. It's hard for
Right.
me. It's hard for me to say that belongs in the same category as the other games.
So, we have 3 finalists unless anyone wants to put another game out there.
I don't really have like a particular game I like to watch. I just really like speedrunning on Twitch. I don't know if there's anything we can say about that because like I really like to watch Final Fantasy. Can we say speedrunning? Speedrunning is not a game.
We could put speedrunning in here, I think, as a whole category. I think it almost has to be a category.
Yeah,
Because,
it's,
like,
I think speedrunning on Twitch is great. People get attached to their speedrunners and like, you know, you get invested in a run and then it's like fucking heartbreaking when like some horrible split happens, like some kind of bad RNG or some like all of a sudden like a critical caster error happens and it's just like, ah, fuck, you know, everybody in the chat all at the same time. Everybody's in it together. I like that shit. I think speedrunning is a great thing
the
to
category
watch.
is best live streamed games. So we had this
that
last
actually,
year.
okay. I like that.
Yeah. So I would like to keep speedrunning. I'm with you. That's kind of, as a category, you almost can't single out a game because...
yeah, there's a
for
million
instance,
different one.
When Awesome Games Done Quick was going, I don't think I've ever watched more Twitch than I did during that week. Like,
Seriously,
I had that
it's
thing on all the time.
so fun.
So, anyone object to keeping that as a top 4 finalist kind of thing here?
I think that's perfectly acceptable.
Okay,
Yeah,
because it's such a big... That's like
Yeah, that's a
whole
little.
other animal.
It's one of those things. Yeah, it's hard to
It's hard to
say
put that up against singular
It's hard to
games.
put that up against individual games
That
because
is
it's
one
like
thing.
Yeah.
what are the individual speedrunning games like? It's hard to put those up against single
Yeah, you're
games,
putting-
but I will say that speedrunning is the one genre where I feel like the game doesn't really matter. It really more is about the genre. Because you don't have to have a great personality or anything. Like a lot of speedrunning people don't use webcams, they don't talk. It's just watching the gameplay itself, and that's what stands out.
Dude, they
So-
fucking speedrun Crash Test Dummies for Nintendo. That game is garbage, but they speedrun it.
Speedrunning
It's
checks
fucking
box.
awesome. Yeah. Like,
I think it's really fun watching people, test the boundaries of gameplay mechanics and just seeing shit you would never think of. Like, oh yeah, like the basic, like a basic rule, you run through almost all of Ocarina of Time backwards because you move faster that way. Shit like that. I love that shit.
The only thing I think with adding that is that category could win every single year.
That's
Exactly.
true.
That's
That's
one
not something
problem.
that
That's
changes.
true,
Like,
but I don't know
speedrunning is
there's-
just awesome.
so...
But
So
if
do-
the speedruns, aside from like KBMOD streams, where obviously I'm watching for the caster rather than the game, I have absolutely no investment in this at all. There's not a single game that I like to watch that isn't just
Slender
like a
too
speedrun
spooky.
game.
He's gonna win. Slender.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Slender did not make the list. So,
Fortunate.
so we have a top 4, and here's the honorable mentions we had. Honorable mentions to Battlefield 4. It was too new to make it, but that one was pretty... We all liked that. Honorable mention to Binding of Isaac and Mugen as well. Mugen
I
being
think
the
Smite
problem
and League
that,
of Legends also deserve
Yeah,
honorable
yeah,
mentions.
Smite and League of Legends. Mugen, so honorable. Alright, I'm done. Okay,
So honored.
but Mugen, only one channel does it, but it does it so well that it almost made it. So our top 4 is Speedrunners, CSGO, Dota 2, and StarCraft 2. So let me go around really quickly. Although,
That's
who
fucking
has
difficult.
a compelling... Yeah, what is your top pick? Somebody can go.
Speedrunners.
Speedrunners for Blacklight.
I'm gonna have to go with CS:GO just because
Yeah,
of
same.
how much growth we've seen in it and how much effort that has been put into it. I
True.
think that when it comes to esports related, which is what I generally like to watch on Twitch, I don't think anything touches it in terms of growth or like I don't know, just like it's excellence. Like if you watch Nip Gaming TV, you watch Fnatic Go TV, like there's a lot of people doing really good Counter-Strike stuff. And I don't even play a lot of Counter-Strike. But I think
So-
from a content perspective, nothing touches it right now.
So, we got speedrunning, Counter-Strike. I am going to go with StarCraft 2. I just love watching StarCraft 2, and I think the fact that I never know what's actually going on,
Adds to the mystique.
it adds to it for me because I can't... For instance, Dota, I liked watching the International, but if I watch League or Dota, I don't know what's going on there either, but it isn't as crazy to me as StarCraft. Because I also know how good those guys, those individual players have to be. Even just with dexterity, physical dexterity on a keyboard. Like, those guys just
one of the
amaze
biggest
me.
parts
So
of it.
that goes for my vote. Scott went with CSGO, I would think.
Yeah.
Well, not vote, but it's looking like... And what about you, Nick?
I
This-
think I'm
this
going to
might
go
be
with
tough for you.
Counter-Strike as well.
Because of the improvements?
Yeah,
That's a
just
big-
because of the
that's a big
improvements. Like, it's bounced back so much and because of the improvements that have been made. Like,
So we'll...
I mean, as
We'll
far as
do,
the spectating experience now, like it's on an even playing field with Dota. And
Yeah, it's basically
I
the same
enjoy
thing.
watching FPS games more than I enjoy watching MOBAs, so that's the only
Yeah,
reason I
that's
can
true.
say Counter-Strike over Dota, because it's the same exact experience in the two games,
Yeah.
and they're both incredible.
The experience is basically the same. It's like, but it's just on a different genre of a game.
Yeah, I think CS wins for me because I want to see, like, I want people to see what CS:GO has done compared to where it started, and like how they've developed the spectating experience, and then future FPS titles look at that and be like, how do we do that for our game? Because I would love to see more FPS titles become popular to stream, and I think CS:GO this year especially has done a lot of the right things to show how you make a shooter like way more fun to watch.
Yeah. So it looks like CS:GO is our winner this year. We had only one repeat from last year as far as the top nominee, and that would be Dota 2. So Counter-Strike Global Offensive this year wins KBMOD's best live stream game of 2013. The only real game